Hi there, my name is Kira, and today I'm going to show you how to crochet these little pigs, which I think these are just absolutely adorable and they work up so quickly. If you're a beginner, check out the videos I have linked down below with tutorials for a magic ring and some of the other basic stitches that I'll be using in today's pattern. Let's go ahead and get started. For supplies, you'll need a pair of scissors, a 5mm crochet hook, a stitch marker and an embroidery needle, 20mm safety eyes, and some polyfill stuffing. For yarn today, I'll be using Premier Parfait Chunky in the color Ballet Pink, Hot Pink, and Teddy Bear, and then you're also just going to need a scrap piece of white plush yarn. I just wanted to take a second to tell you guys about a new app I've been using that's been really helpful in keeping all of my crochet stuff organized, called LOOPSY. I think it's a pretty common problem for a lot of us crocheters to have patterns that we like on all these different platforms. So maybe there's a handful of patterns that you like on YouTube and on Pinterest or on Etsy, and then you just can't seem to remember where you have everything saved. But with LOOPSY, you can upload patterns from pretty much anywhere, and it stores and organizes everything all into one place, which has made my life so much easier. So not only is this such a great place to keep all of your crochet patterns organized and all in one place, but they also have all these tools built into the app. So while you're crocheting, you can easily find anything you need. While you're working on a pattern in the LOOPSY app, it keeps track of your row count and your stitch count. You can also kind of time how long it takes you, and then it also tracks your progress as you go through the pattern, so you can see like, oh, I'm halfway through the pattern. And then you can even look up crochet abbreviations, and then they also have tools like a yarn calculator, a granny square planner, a color palette generator, a pricing calculator for anyone who's going to sell their plushies, and this is all without leaving the app. Another feature I really like is being able to keep track of your yarn and supply inventory, especially if you're like me and you're constantly buying yarn but you can never remember what you have. They also have a place for you to discover new patterns and a community so you can share your projects with others and make friends and find inspiration. I think my favorite thing about the app is that everything is just all in one place. It is so nice to have literally anything I could need all kept and organized in one place. The best part about the app is that all of the core features that I just talked about are completely free. If you wanted to try LOOPSY Pro for 1 month free, you can get your first month for free using the link down in the description. But like I said, all of those core features that I just mentioned about the app are completely free outside of LOOPSY Pro. So I would definitely recommend checking it out if you're looking for a new place to keep everything organized and all put together. Okay, so here is my little pig body, and for the body, I'm going to send you over to another video to make the body, and then have you come back to this video and I'll show you how to make the head and all the other details on the pig. It's a video for a body pattern that I use for a lot of my animals, and so rather than re-recording that same body all the time, I thought it might be easier to just make one video and then make a separate video for different animals' details and like their heads and that kind of thing. So in this other video, you'll see that I'm using completely different colors. So you just want to make sure that you're using colors for your pig. So for mine, I just used a light pink color for the arms, the legs, and the body. And then I have the bottom of the arms and the legs, I'm just using a like darker brown color. And then I did just add change colors when I was making the body to add this little spot. You totally do not have to add a spot if you don't want to. So after you make the body, I'm gonna have you come back here and we will make the pig's head and add all the other little details. I'll have the body tutorial linked down in the description, and I'll also put it up on the screen. But I will see you back here in just a couple minutes. First, we're gonna start making the ears. The first thing you're going to want to do is make 6 single crochet into a magic ring. For the next round, I'm just going to make 6 increase stitches. And then I'm going to go ahead and place my stitch marker, and just for reference, I like to keep my stitch marker in the last stitch of every round rather than the first stitch of every round. For the next round, I'm going to start by making 3 slip stitches. And then I'm going to make 3 single crochet in one, so 3 single crochet all into one stitch. So there's 2, and then again into that same stitch there's 3, and then I'm going to make 3 single crochet, and then another 3 single crochet in one stitch, and then 3 more single crochet, and then I'm going to make another 3 single crochet in one. For the next round, I'm going to start by making 5 slip stitches. And then 3 single crochet in one. And then I'm going to make 5 single crochet. Another 3 single crochet in one. Five more single crochet. And then 3 single crochet in one. For the next round, I'm going to make 7 slip stitches. And then 3 single crochet in one. And then I'm going to make another 7 single crochet. And then 3 single crochet in one. And then I'm going to make another 7 single crochet. And then another 3 single crochet in one. And then to finish off the round, I'm just going to make a slip stitch into that next stitch. And then I'm going to go ahead and tie off my yarn. And now's a good time to also just use your embroidery needle to weave this tail from your magic ring to the bottom of the ear to get it out of the way. And then once you have one ear finished, you want to go ahead and repeat those exact same steps again to make a second ear. And then I'm just going to go ahead and set these aside for now, and we'll come back to them once we get started on the head. So to make the head, I'm just going to start by making 8 single crochet into a magic ring. For the next round, I'm going to make 8 increase stitches. For the next round, I'm going to make 1 single crochet and then an increase stitch and repeat that 8 times to go all the way around. So 1 single crochet and then an increase stitch. And then I'm going to do that 7 more times. For the next round, I'm going to make 3 single crochet and then an increased stitch, and repeat that 6 times to go all the way around. So 1, 2, 3 single crochet and then an increased stitch, and then I'm going to do that 5 more times. For the next round, I'm going to make 4 single crochet and then an increased stitch, and repeat that 6 times to go all the way around. So 1, 2, 3, and 4 single crochet and then an increased stitch. And then I'm just going to do that 5 more times. For the next round, I'm just going to make 5 single crochet and then an increased stitch, and repeat that 6 times to go all the way around. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 single crochet and then an increased stitch, and then I'm going to repeat that around 5 more times. For the next round, I'm just going to make 42 single crochet around, and I'm going to go ahead and do this round off camera real quick. But again, just 42 single crochet around, and then I'll be right back to show you what to do. Okay, so I just finished my 42 single crochet around, and in this next round, we're going to be attaching the ears to the head. First, I'm just going to start by making 10 single crochet. And then I'm going to grab my first ear. So this, where my tails are coming out, is the bottom of the ear. And just to kind of show you here what I'm doing, what we're looking at here is the back of the head. And we're going to keep working forward to make the front of the head. So I'm looking at the pretty side of my work. And I'm going to take the ear and have the bottom facing upwards, and I'm going to line up 7 stitches from the bottom of the ear with the next 7 stitches on my head. So roughly, I think I'm going to go through like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, these 7 stitches in the center to attach the ear. And what I'm going to do is just go through 1 stitch from the ear and into the next stitch on my head. And I'm going to make 7 single crochet through both of these pieces. So there's 1. 2. 3. 4. 5. 6 and 7. And then I'm going to go ahead and make 8 single crochet. And then I'm going to grab my second ear and I'm going to attach this one the exact same way. So I'm just going to line up the bottom of the ear with the next 7 stitches on my head. And then make 7 single crochet through both the ear and the head. And then I'm just going to finish off the round with 10 more single crochet. And then here's what it looks like from the back of the head. For this next round, I'm just going to make another 42 single crochet around. And I'm going to go ahead and do this round off camera. But again, it's just 42 single crochet around, and then I'll be right back. So I just finished my 42 single crochet around. And for the next round, I'm gonna start by making 8 single crochet. And then I'm gonna make 1 decrease stitch. And then 22 single crochet across the top of the head. And then I'm going to make another decrease stitch. And then just finish off the round with another 8 single crochet. For the next round, I'm going to start by making 6 single crochet. And then 1 decrease stitch. And then I'm going to make 3 single crochet and a decrease stitch 4 times. So 1, 2, 3 single crochet and then a decrease stitch, and then I'm going to do that 3 more times. And then I'm going to make 2 single crochet and 2 decrease stitches. And then I'm just going to finish off the round with 6 more single crochet. For the next round, I'm going to start by making 2 single crochet and then a decrease stitch, and then 5 single crochet, and then I'm going to make 1 decrease stitch and 3 single crochet 3 times. So 1 decrease stitch, and then 3 single crochet, And I'm going to repeat that 2 more times. And then I'm going to make 5 more single crochet. A decrease stitch. And then finish off the round with 2 more single crochet. For the next round, I'm going to start by making 8 single crochet. And then 2 decrease stitches. And then I'm going to make 4 single crochet. And then another 2 decrease stitches. And then I'm just going to finish off the round with 8 more single crochet. For the next round, I'm going to start by making 11 single crochet. And then 1 decrease stitch. And then I'm going to finish off the round with 11 more single crochet. For the next round, I'm going to make 2 single crochet and a decrease stitch 5 times. So 1 and 2 single crochet and then a decrease stitch. And then I'm going to do that 4 more times. And then I'm just going to finish off this round with 3 more single crochet. Okay, feel free to go ahead and add some stuffing into the head. You can also add your safety eyes in. I like to wait and add my safety eyes after I've stuffed the head, but feel free to do it in whichever order you prefer. For my eyes, I think I'm going to wait until I finish this next round to insert my eyes. For the next round, I'm just going to do 1 round of 18 single crochet around. Okay, so I just finished my 18 single crochet around. So I'm just gonna go ahead and place my safety eyes a few rows back from where we're at right now. Between the 4th and 5th rows back behind where we are right now. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I have my eye placed in between those 2 rows. And I'm gonna do this on both sides to place my eyes about 7 stitches apart. And you do just want to make sure that they're nice and centered between the ears. Okay, I think this is where I want my eyes to sit, but I'm not 100% sure, so I'm gonna wait to put the backings on them. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and set this aside for a second, and we're gonna come back to it. Really quick, we're gonna make the pig's nose. So I just have this much darker pink. It's like a hot pink color. And I'm gonna start by making 6 single crochet into a magic ring. And then for the next round, I'm going to make 6 increase stitches. And then I'm going to do one more round, and for this last round I'm going to do 1 single crochet and then an increase stitch and repeat that 6 times to go around. So I'm just going to make 1 single crochet and then an increase stitch, and I'm just going to repeat that 5 more times. Okay, and then I'm going to come back to my pig's head. You can go ahead and tie off this yarn on your head, and then just tuck that tail onto the inside. A little bit more stuffing, and add that in there before we close this up. I also want to place the backings on my safety eyes. And then I'm just going to line up my dark pink circle that I made here. And I'm just going to make 18 single crochet through both of these pieces all the way around. So starting in that next stitch on my nose, and then I'm just going to grab a stitch from the head and make a single crochet. And I'm just going to go all the way around and make 18 single crochet through both the head and my little nose. And before you get all the way around, you will want to pause for a second and just add some more stuffing in there. And then once you've gone all the way around, you just want to make a slip stitch into that first stitch to just join the nose. And then I'm just going to take this yarn and tie it off. And then use my embroidery needle to weave the little end into the head. Okay, and then we're gonna do a little bit of shaping to the face here to help bring these eyes a little bit closer together. So I'm just gonna take a little scrap piece of my light pink yarn and thread that onto my embroidery. And then I'm gonna insert this at the top inside corner of one eye and bring it over to the top inside corner of my other eye. Pull it through, but make sure to leave a little tail over here. And then I'm going to bring it down to the bottom inside corner of this eye, over to the bottom inside corner of my other eye, and then pull it through. And then I'm just going to take these two ends and tie them together. And the tighter you tie them, the closer together those eyes are going to be. So it's just going to kind of bring those eyes a little closer. And then once you're happy with how the eyes look, you can go ahead and just tie off the yarn and weave the ends into the head. And then the last step for the head is to add some little white details around the outside of the eyes. And for that, you'll just want to use a scrap piece of white plush yarn. And I'm going to thread that onto my embroidery needle. And I'm going to insert this into the top center of my eye and have it kind of come out to the side of the head here. I have pulled it off my needle and I'm just going to rethread it onto the other end of the yarn. And then I'm going to insert this at the bottom center of my eye. And then also have it come back out on the side of the head where we had it come out the first time. And then when you pull these two ends nice and tight, it's just going to add that little white detail on the side of the eye. And then I'm just going to go ahead and tie these two ends together and weave them into the head. Just make sure to repeat this on both sides. Okay, so here's my pig head all finished, and the last step is going to be to sew the head to the body. So to sew the head onto the body, I just have this tail that we left on the top of the body on my embroidery needle. And what I'm going to do is just grab the head and kind of hold it on there where I want it to sit on the body. And to sew it on, I'm just going to grab a stitch from the head, and then another stitch from the body, and another stitch from my head. And I'm just going to continue to grab a stitch from the head and then a stitch from the body and work my way all the way around to sew on the head. And then I'll come and show you what it looks like once I have it all finished. And then once you get to the back of the head and it's all sewn on, I'm just going to tie off my yarn and then weave this end into the body. Okay, the very last thing that we're going to do here is add the tail. So I'm just looking at the back of my body here, and what I'm going to do is take some of my light pink yarn and make a slip knot on my hook. And then I'm going to insert this at the back center of my body, kind of towards the bottom, right where I want my tail to be. I'm going to make a slip stitch to kind of anchor my yarn. Okay. I'm going to chain 9. And then starting in that second stitch from my hook, I'm going to make 3 single crochet in 1 into each of these stitches going all the way down my chain. So I'm going to skip this first stitch and go into that second stitch from my hook. And I'm going to make 3 single crochet all into this one stitch. And I'm going to do that in each one of my chain stitches all the way back down. You're going to do 3 single crochet in 1 8 times. once you've done all of your 3 single crochet in one, I'm just going to go into the stitch right next to my original stitch here and make a slip stitch to secure that yarn. And then you can go ahead and tie off your yarn. And then the last thing you got to do is just weave in these 2 ends into the body. Absolutely love the little tail. I think this pattern is super cute. It works up really quickly. This would be the perfect gift for a little kid. I hope you enjoyed making this pattern as much as I did. If you do make this pattern, I would absolutely love to see your photos, and you can tag me on Instagram at Crochet with Kira. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope to see you again soon.